Hey guys, we'll get started in just a minute. AR, why don't you talk for a moment?
Talk. I was cavity free at the dentist today.
Hooray! Dev, why don't you try talking for a moment?
Hooray
My
indeed,
dentist
I
has
don't have to
long
go
since
back during a
retired.
pandemic.
Didn't
Yeah,
hear
my
you.
dentist has long since retired.
Okay.
This was a high stakes one because I don't want to have to go back for another 6 months.
Yeah, it's always it's always with the dentist when you show up. It's like, oh, what's going to be wrong now?
Well, I kind of know what's going to be wrong. It's like, hey, one of your fillings pretty much self-destructed. Like, thanks, I didn't notice that.
Okay, you guys ready to go?
Yep.
Yeah, still cutting out, but this should be interesting.
I think it might be a Discord issue.
You guys want me to stop the call and restart it just to see if that fixes it?
Maybe.
Okay, I'm going to disconnect and reconnect. So you guys may have to disconnect also. Okay, restarting the call there. Okay, try talking for a moment, AR. And no AR. Dev, try talking for a moment.
I'm alive. I can't hear AR, but I can hear you
okay.
just fine.
Okay, try talking AR.
I'm here. I wasn't talking before, so that was okay. Talk.
Okay, that hopefully will fix it. If not, then we'll find out. Basically, yeah. Welcome to the WtW podcast. We're here to entertain, inform a bit while talking about Digimon. I'm Mark, running with the will. And AR is completely cut out at that point.
No, you cut out on me, so I couldn't hear the cue. No, I'm back. I missed the cue because.
Okay, you're definitely cutting out.
So no, I don't think the problems are resolved. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna restart Discord.
Yeah.
Entirely.
Why don't we all do that just for the sake of argument?
Sounds good.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get this fixed in a moment. It's just better to do this at the beginning of the show than partway through. Okay, Discord's restarting. Wait for it to say AR is back. And restarting the call. Can you hear me now, AR?
I wonder if that helps.
It installed.
Oh, you're definitely cutting out.
5 updates, so that might have something to do with it.
Okay, AR, if I continue to talk like this, are you able to keep hearing me as if I'm talking continuously?
You were not talking continuously. You cut out.
Dev, was I cutting out for you?
Barely, only a very tiny bit near the end. It kind of did like a little warble.
You cut out for me too.
Well, this will be a very interesting show.
I guess.
We'll
put up the Discord problems and
yeah.
Interesting's one way to put it. Unworkable might be another.
Yeah, we may call it off, but let's
go. I may rage quit like halfway in, so just to warn you.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Welcome to the WtW podcast. We're here to entertain and inform while talking about Digimon. I'm Mark. I run with the will, and we have some interesting issues today.
Okay, I may rage quit even now.
Yeah, AR is we're having some odd audio issues. We're having some odd audio issues with AR. AR, maybe as an alternative, do you have Discord on your phone?
I don't know if it's me. I'm hearing like everyone's cutting out on everyone, so
I'm not having.
I'm only hearing you cut out.
Yeah, I'm not hearing Dev cut out at all.
I'm hearing Dev cut out. Oh.
You know, here, let me try bumping. I'm gonna bump us to the a U.S. Central server, and we'll see if that clears anything up. AR, try talking for a bit. AR, can you hear me?
Barely heard that.
Okay, I tried bumping us to a different Discord server to see if that would fix it, but if you're not hearing, then perhaps not. Try talking for a
I think
minute,
that
AR.
made it worse, actually.
Okay.
Talk. How is it? Is that doing anything?
I can hear you pretty clearly now.
Okay, that seems to have fixed it up. It may just be that the Western servers are acting up. Do I sound fine to you at the moment, AR?
No, you're still cutting out.
Okay, I'll try bumping us back to West, and we'll just see if that works. Okay, can you hear me now?
I heard that. Barely.
Okay. Does it sound like I'm cutting out, or can you?
I heard the end of that at least. Yes, it sounds like you're cutting out.
Okay, Dev, do I sound like I'm cutting out to you?
I can actually hear you pretty well at this point.
Okay.
Can we just questions to not talk about the episode, because the questions are the only thing about this that I'm interested in. I like the questions. The episode itself is like
AR. You're not allowed to say that
okay,
when your review has an A in the grade, AR.
It's an A-, but
yeah.
that's because it's at this point it's like it's A- for this series.
Okay, here's what we'll do. We'll start. AR, if you cut out, you can just sit and collect questions if you want, and then you can pop back up for the questions. Does that sound like it works for you?
I will chime in at random moments, I think.
Okay, that's fine. Okay.
Hopefully it isn't while someone else is talking.
Yeah. No, if it is, it is. Okay, so Dev, most of it will just be you and me today, okay?
That works.
Okay. I didn't hear what you said.
Okay, I will do the preamble one more time. Dev, why don't you chime in after me? That way AR has the best chance of hearing at least one of us and knowing when to chime in. So you'll go before AR, okay?
Whoop.
Okay. Welcome to the podcast. We're here to entertain and inform while talking about Digimon. I'm Mark. I run with the Will.
I'm DevQ. I'm your local Wikimon slave.
And AR's having some audio issues, so he will be here.
Hold on, I'm gonna. Now I can't hear either of you.
Oh, we're not talking. I think we were waiting for you.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. This is. Yeah.
Okay. Why don't you just sit around and we'll try to get you to chime in for questions if you're able to. Because I think that's the best option at the moment, and you can try to chime in if you're able to.
I'm ready to just leave. I'm like ready to just go.
Of course, ironically, you're not cutting out now at all.
Yeah, Discord is not working.
Okay, how about this? Let's do this. Try talking for about 15 seconds. I just want to see if you cut out. So just starting now.
Whatever you're instructing me to do, type it in the chat, because I'm not getting any of this right now.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm typing to AR. Just give us a moment. Everyone goes on.
Boop 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 boop. Boop 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 boop. Boop 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 boop.
Yeah, I don't want to stick around for that.
Okay. I think
just save the questions for next week, and hopefully we can get this figured out or find a new platform or something, because Discord is just being and Discord. This has been a problem for the last couple weeks. It's just really bad today.
Yeah. Okay, AR will be joining us next week. AR, you can go ahead and bounce.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Take a nap for me.
Okay, so it'll just be me and Dev today. Dev, you ready to go?
Yep.
Okay. Welcome to the podcast. We're here to entertain and inform while talking about Digimon. I'm Mark. I run with the Will.
I'm DevQ, and this feels like deja vu.
Yeah, we've started 3 or 4 times. AR had to bounce for whatever reason. We weren't really able to hear him. He wasn't able to really hear us. The only thing consistent is we're reasonably sure something on his end was the issue, because me and Dev can hear each other more or less pretty well.
That is true.
So we will be talking about... I was going to make a joke about not having something after this week, but it's less funny with AR not around to comment on it. So, DevQ, episode 20, The Seventh One Awakens, how do you like it?
Actually, pretty satisfied with this episode. I mean, I got to see some of my favorite obscure Digimon kick ass in general, good evolution sequences, lots of fun fighting, and yeah.
So you just liked it, really?
Yeah. It was fun. It was enjoyable.
Yeah, I liked it. I do feel like we're hitting the point where we do need something to slow down a bit, though.
I feel like after the Nidhoggmon episodes, which were kind of like anticlimactic and kind of drawn out, this one kind of like had a lot in it all at once.
Okay, so basically you think that after those ones didn't really fulfill anything, this one being able to push it basically makes up for any failings it might have had, in the sense of, at some point we need the kids to sit down and relax a bit, not including Sora and Koshiro, who do just that.
Yeah, it works out pretty nicely.
Yeah. What was interesting was AR, I feel like, and I'm not going to speak for him, but since he's not here, I just wanted to mention it. He seemed to not really like the episode, although he gave it an A-.
Maybe because Leomon was still alive.
Yeah, he doesn't like Leomon. So we get Valgrimmon from Frontier, which everyone seemed very excited to see him.
Well, especially because, like, in Frontier, he was really hyped up, and then we never got to see him again because we had, you know, Lion and Lion 2 that stands up. So.
Yeah. It's... The... Valgrimmon did some neat battle stuff, but really it's all overshadowed by the missile surfing, don't you think?
The missile surfing was just awesome.
Here's the thing. I really did like it. I kind of didn't like where we then see the exact animation used again, just without the feathers behind him, where it just kind of went, we're not going to get to do this again, so we better throw that animation in one more time.
It's a Toyetic series. They're gonna
I know,
reuse it where they can.
No, I know, and yeah. Takeru's finally around. We got to see him and Yamato interact a little bit. Not as much as hopefully we do soon, but something.
It felt a little bit drawn out, that one scene of Yamato just yelling Takeru's name over and over again while reaching for him. It's just like, I get that it's supposed to show, like, you know, taking time to kind of like try and wake him up, but it got kind of irritating after like a minute and a half.
To be fair, that animation's cheap. That buys them time for the surfing animation,
which they did again. It's like, hey, in case you missed it, let's just throw them right back on that missile.
Yeah. And then we finally get Angemon properly showing up, and he dead.
Yeah, for a second there, I thought they were kind of shadowing that Angemon was stuck in Valgrimmon. But it turned out to not be the case.
Yeah, I didn't quite read it that way. I will say this. I kind of like introducing him with his death that way, especially since you are introducing Takeru so much later than you normally would have. Is it lets them sort of deal with the expectation of that happening and get it out of the way.
Yeah, especially because, like, Angemon was, like, a huge thing in the original series. Like, he took down Devimon and died right then and there. Yeah. So, kind of like doing it the reverse is actually pretty interesting. It's like, hi, here's Angemon, and, like, now you get to take care of an angry little bat pig.
Yep.
Eventually.
Well, not yet. The egg's stolen by Skull Knightmon.
Kind of interesting. It's like, oh, they want to, like, corrupt the holy Digimon, but it's like, how are they actually going to do that? Are they going to succeed? Is there going to be, like, a recolor bat pig?
I would assume, one, they're not going to, and two, the idea is chuck it in miasma.
Fair. Just call it Naraku.
So yeah, we got to see good use of attacks in this episode. I feel like there's not a lot to talk about with this one, though. It's very straightforward, don't you think?
Yeah, but I also like how, like, even with the group that's in the real world, there's actually, like, real consequences, or at least acknowledgments, like, hey, you kind of disappeared for 3 days.
Yeah,
where the hell were you?
The real world stuff was good with Sora pointing that. Koshiro sort of not responding properly, so it'll be interesting to see what that ends up being.
Yeah, like, at least if we're going off of the previous series, I don't see his parents, like, flogging him or anything.
Yeah, but it also doesn't feel like it's setting up that he just has a family at home, and because he in the first one he was an orphan, and they could do that here, and maybe he's not adopted.
Or that is fair, else. Or like his parents are busy working so much that they basically didn't notice him disappearing for several days.
Yeah, that's true also. That'd be an interesting take for it. Yeah, so it feels like next episode we need to get more Takaru stuff, though, don't you think?
Yeah, but I wonder if they're going to, like, touch on any of the other characters at all, or if it's all going to be just Takaru in general.
Maybe we'll see. Oh, did I hear AR?
Yeah, I'm trying again with a wired connection. I did a speed test and it was a really stupidly slow upload speed on the Wi-Fi, so I plugged in directly. See if
you sound great. Better. You sound great.
Hey, we can hear you now.
Yeah.
Okay.
We were in the midst of talking about the episode. I spoke for you where I think you didn't really like the episode, even though you gave it an A-.
I liked the episode because it had a lot of promise for things to come, and it had a lot of good action scenes for what it offered. Like the scene of the actual rescue was very well handled, and I, liked the potential possibilities of the fact that it even suggested that Sora and Koshiro might have a backstory.
Yeah.
That's promising. It's just a lot of...
I'm sorry, but I think we figured out what the issue's been the last few weeks. AR, you sound immaculate. I mean, like, better than I've ever heard you on this.
Oh, that's really annoying, actually, because now I have to figure out what's going on with my router.
Yeah, I'll help you in a few days. But yeah, you sound great, and you are correct in that I think other than Mimi and the main duo, we didn't really hear much about home life or anything like that, did we, prior to this?
Yeah, and it's been a major issue, really, because we really don't know who any of these kids are, and we still don't know who Takaru is. If we're being perfectly honest.
Here's the thing: I'm willing to let that go with Takaru up through the end of the next episode. If we don't know something well enough by the end of that episode, then it's a problem. Here, as far as I'm concerned, he's still in the midst of being introduced, so I'm willing to accept that for now. I'm not willing to, if it's an issue by the end of next week, then it's an actual issue. Because if they're introducing him with no introduction, then I'll say someone's fucked up. But I'm willing to let it go for now, at least.
Yeah, but I mean, the episode was fine. Like the sacrifice, like Angemon dying was just sort of, you just sort of write that off. Like there's no emotion behind that. I think they were trying to suggest that there should be, but there isn't because we don't give a crap who Angemon is.
See, I think they subverted that a little bit because we knew how important the Holy Digimon was, and that's what their goal was. So finding him and having that be taken away twice, I actually think did work. It may not have worked from a character's perspective. From a story perspective, I think
it definitely doesn't work. It doesn't work from a character's perspective. So what you're saying is I compared it to Angemon's Death in Frontier. You're saying I should be comparing it to Seraphimon's Death in Frontier. That's the more apt comparison.
No, I'm comparing it to... let's see. Don't know what I want to compare it to, but definitely not anything like that. I was gonna say Piximon, but that didn't feel quite correct either.
No, it's not as strong as Piximon. Piximon had
Yoda.
Yeah, Piximon had something behind it. That's the old Death of a Mentor kind of scenario
that's
there.
that's why I didn't go with it. But it did work for the story. It doesn't work for the character, is how I would go with it. But I'm also
it seems also to rely too heavily on knowing the original series. Like it kind of does, because it bothers me in this. It bothers me in the sense that I want to go with this series trying to judge it on its own without making comparisons to the original, but the show keeps throwing this kind of stuff at us, which makes us recall the original, and the comparisons are really hard to avoid.
You're correct, but there's also the counterpoint of we are comparing it because we know it. We can't not know it is also part of the issue. Is someone who doesn't know any of this stuff could go, they found the thing they're looking for, and not only was it taken away, the egg was then taken away, and that does have meaning. It just has less meaning to us because we kind of saw it coming 100 different ways.
Yeah, losing the egg was a nice touch, honestly. Yeah. That I really liked.
Yeah, I'm just hoping they sort of make it worth the while.
Well, it's also a good explanation of like how Digimon works in the series, because it's like, oh, hey, there's an egg. When we die, we kind of go back to that.
Yeah.
Because before you just see Digimon just kind of like exploding into little bits of data with no other explanation.
Yeah, they've been killing a lot of Digimon to get to this point where they're suddenly, oh yeah, there's an egg. I'm pretty sure. I don't think any, other than like Bakemon, I don't think any Digimon prior to episode 13 actually died.
I'm pretty sure we saw
the original series.
Oh, in the original, I don't remember to be. I won't even pretend. I won't even pretend I remember. But you're probably correct.
I think Angemon was the first actual death in the original series.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about this. The one real big flaw of this series, and is very often it feels like we end an episode and we go, the episode's good as long as the next one doesn't fuck it up.
Yeah,
because here's the thing, I'm happy.
I don't think that's the show's only flaw, mind you.
No, I'm saying its primary flaws is we can be perfectly happy with the episode, or reasonably happy, because in theory it's supposed to be something's supposed to be dealt with in the next episode, and then it steps on its foot. Yeah.
It so frequently falls into that trap of, ooh, this is going to get interesting, and it hasn't really yet.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm happy enough with the episode for now. It's sort of going back to the laptop upgrade.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if shit happens, if shit gets followed up on, then it's good. If it doesn't, then it's Frontier. Yeah. So next time we get the tide turning update, where hopefully stuff happens, but we'll find out.
No, I'm hoping stuff doesn't really happen. Honestly, I hope I hope we get character depth and stuff. I know that they seem to be teasing one particular thing that I hope doesn't happen.
Well, I've said it a few times. I would love them to have an episode end, and then the next episode is everyone goes to the fake spa or whatever, and there's an episode of just characters talking and not doing anything. I feel like the show would benefit from that happening.
I don't know if the show is capable of going there right now.
Oh, I'm not sure it is either. I'm not sure that.
I think it's a worry. It's a worry. I think we had I had at least when Omegamon first showed up. It's like, is the show capable of dialing it down efficiently? And the show hasn't proven that it's capable of that yet. And it has to at some point.
It has to at some point, because it's one of those things where you can't just keep raising, and that at some point it's tiring. And I would like the relaxing episode.
I'm exhausted by this show.
Here's what I want. I want an episode of it to be Lucky Star with them just sitting around talking. Just a nice,
that would be
relaxing.
so great.
Yeah, I just want a nice, relaxing episode.
I could use for a Lucky Star episode of like every season, and only certain seasons actually give one to us.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to literally be that. But we need something to slow down, so catch your breath, basically.
Yeah.
The beach episode.
Yeah.
We need a beach episode.
Yeah, and before we move on from Adventure, cue the second end theme. We'll get a single release on November 4th digitally. It feels like this is a case of, well, coronavirus, we need to get it out before we move on to the next song soon enough. Because we're awfully close to that.
We're probably due for a new ending and possibly a new opening.
In about a month and a half, that's about when you'd expect something to happen. So
yeah.
So we get that digitally November 4th.
This is like my favorite ending.
It's been. I'm looking forward to the full version because when you listen to the song, it's edited well, but there are times when it feels like it's changing pace far too quickly, and it feels like
you're trying to get all parts of it into one little.
This is one where the full version is going to be bananas, and I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. I'm hoping that, like a lot of the digital stuff, it will just be on WtW with no DRM, no geo-locking for most of us. Because it's been easy to buy stuff from there digitally, so I'm hoping.
Yeah. It's like, shut up and take my money.
And then everyone's favorite topic, it's polls. So the first one is, we get the results for how long have you been a Digimon fan? And there's nothing surprising here for two reasons. One, the results are roughly what we'd expect, and two, the kids they're trying to get would not be doing, like, you're not doing this poll unless you are a hardcore fan paying attention to this type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, you're usually not going to be, like, wandering onto Digimon.net and looking at the polls if, you know.
Yeah. So the results are...
At the same time, the number of hardcore fans is really old, and that is a little... There's unhappy.
There is some interesting results here, though. So first, let's go over the numbers, then we'll actually go over them. So 16 years or more, 74%. 10 to 15 years, 16%. 6 to 9 years, 4%. Less than a year, 2%. 4 to 5 years, 2%. And 2 to 3 years, 2%. The one plus is I would not have guessed 8% from below the last decade, to be honest. I would have thought more like 4 or 5. Because in the last decade, almost everything actually has been aimed at people who already know it. So I'm actually a bit surprised because there actually is some positive there. But again, this isn't the type of thing we'd expect more casual fans to even pay attention to at all. I'm just shocked it was that high at all, to be honest.
I feel bad
especially because like if they're new fans, they're probably getting into it because of the new series, and some don't watch it until
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't know if fans of the new series are immediately onboarding and joining up with something.
No,
subscribing to the official Twitter.
Yeah,
right away.
But yeah, so it's interesting, but it's also doesn't really tell us anything that's helpful. Minus that. It's not that shocking.
Yeah, surprisingly, all the fans who grew up with Atmon are not sticking around with the hardcore Digimon base, and I wonder why.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. I'm more curious. This is the type of thing where it'd be more relevant 10 years from now that stuff's active again. Because it was too off and on to really be workable in that period. So it'll be interesting to see.
What's the onboarding? What is an onboarding point in the last 10 years other than Atmon, which doesn't seem to really work?
I mean, you could argue Cyber Sleuth, but it feels like anyone who here's the thing. It feels like most people who came on for Cyber Sleuth immediately left.
Yeah, I can't. Cyber Sleuth never struck me as an onboard point.
Oh, like maybe people picked it
up to because they heard it was a good game, but that's not something where you join and then stick around. I should rephrase then. People seem to really have wanted Cyber Sleuth to be an onboarding point, and it really didn't. Yeah. No, I never saw it as. I mean, I could see people cheating on Pokemon and drifting over to play it, but they're not going to stay.
Yeah. But yeah, so interesting results, but nothing shocking. The next poll people got very excited about. Basically a little Halloween fun. Which Digimon would you want to dress up as? A lot of people are really hoping Wizardmon seems to rank highly in this one.
Yeah, that's probably the go-to.
I mean, the Halloween themed Digimon you kind of think of, along with like Pumpmon and whatnot.
Pumpmon, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I can see it that Patamon Kigurumi.
Okay. Now for the fun. If we get, let's say, at least 10 results, does Omegamon show up in them?
Yes.
I'm gonna say yes, just because.
Yeah. But yeah, so
I mean, if you kind of go with what there are actually people cosplaying as, Omegamon's pretty up there.
Oh, this is one where Renamon is going to show up.
I will say this. Okay, so it closes October 26th. Do you think to make this really worth it, they have to get the results up by the 31st?
Yes, and I think that instead of showing the pictures from the reference book, they should find someone cosplaying as that Digimon.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of all the Digimon cosplays I've seen.
No, you know what?
Yeah, it's a lot of Renamon. I've seen some Daomon.
There's going to be Angemon, Angemon, Lady Devamon.
Angemon should be on there for sure.
I know
Devamon is another popular one.
I've seen an Agnemon and Wolfmon before. Yeah. I've seen there's Fairymon's been on there.
Okay, wait for the
Fairymon I've seen before.
For the Halloween fun, I know when they can put this up. They can be just like The Simpsons and do it on November 1st.
Well, they're not being preempted by baseball.
They could be, for all we know.
I don't know how the Japan League season's working this year.
Simpsons had such a good run of not. Simpsons had such a good run of not having that happen. It's been 10 years since the last time they weren't able to air the Halloween special in October.
It shows how long I've been out of The Simpsons.
Okay, Eduardo.
It used to be such a great running gag.
Eduardo in our chat had a great suggestion for cosplay: Noble Pumpkinmon.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, that's one. Yeah. Yes, that's one we need to see.
I love that.
And AR, you are correct. It used to be so common for that to happen with The Simpsons. They would joke in the show about it.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, that Noble Pumpkinmon's an absolutely great suggestion. Korilu also has a good one with Ignitemon. But yeah, so
that would be okay. Yeah.
But yeah, with Halloween coming up, hopefully we'll see some actually show up in photos, because it's not like people are going trick-or-treating.
That probably might discourage people from putting much effort into a big Halloween outfit.
Okay, but I assure you that like all the cosplayers are just gnawing at the bit, just making costumes at home because they have nothing else to do. So it's like, hey, why don't we just make this absolutely insane for whatever conventions do come back?
Somebody look at the canon human forms of all the Cross Wars ones in the manga and get cracking on those.
And then we have they've gone nuts with card stuff lately. So, ton of random previews, which we won't get into because there's just too many of them. Last night, we got to see all the super rare parallel cards, all of which have new art by Kenji Watanabe. And he does art so much that even when we see it and go, wow, it's sometimes easy to forget just how good he is. And when you look at the art on the cards, it sort of is mind-blowing His
line work is amazing.
I know, it's immaculate when it's not him doing sketches in theory for fun, and it's just an insane amount of detail from him on these. And I don't even know which one to say is the best. And even like the little details he has in the background, like the silhouettes of Vmon and Wormmon on the Imperial Dramon card.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, they all look so nice. And then...
Although I'm a little biased towards Lilithmon.
Yeah, Lilithmon's good.
That one looks nice. I think Mastamon looks really good, to be honest.
Mastamon looks okay. I'd still take Lilithmon over that one.
Yeah. Then we get the box topper parallel cards, which are not the Tamer cards this time. It's one adult level each. And I like the choices. I'm not sure what to think about these choices. It makes sense based on what the cards are, but it feels. God bless Gurumon and the times we get to talk about him. Yeah, and we also got the first look at the new starter decks, which they all look great. Are any of us really interested in people going with theories every time cards pop up?
Ugh, no.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Yeah,
No.
so we get green, black, and purple boosters. The cards all look nice. I have to be honest, the Blitz Greymon card looks so good to me on this one. It really. It's hard
I
to.
really like when they pop out of the frame like that.
Yeah.
I will say the pop effect doesn't really work that well for Kreskarumon because they have him set up a bit too centery.
It doesn't really pop as much.
Yeah.
It's not as noticeable as is
Yeah.
with Blitz.
Yeah.
There's more contrast with the Blitz Greymons.
Yeah, you got the color.
Yeah, that
Blitz
helps.
Greymon's color is especially effective.
Yeah, on Fun Digica, they played against another card channel and then also did an episode on theirs, and people were very happy about it. Apparently, was very fun. And then we got US Booster up US card news. They're doing an online tournament in December, and the prizes are the promo pack and the memory gauges that. This was like a month after it came out in Japan, I think, the card game. I don't quite remember, but I remember seeing these before. I like them. It just, yeah. And Booster Set 4 already went for pre-orders, and I believe HLJ already sold out of their number. I think they already closed pre-orders for them. Which means people swarmed, basically.
Yeah. It's been pretty consistent with that.
Yeah, it seemed to go quicker this time, though, I will say. But yeah, we're not going over all the cards, but there's some really nice looking ones this time. It's hard to, because I try to write at least a little bit about each one, and it's hard to not just write, wow, this looks nice, because that's every fucking card. The only card that I've seen recently that I didn't really like was Dark Despair, Mastamon's Attack. Something about it just doesn't look that good to me. It feels bland. Like it could have been, I don't know, just doesn't work for me. And then we have, instead of card game, we have video game news. AR, are you shocked that Digimon Survive has been delayed until 2021?
No. And I'm happy they put an announcement out. About time.
A week after we got a non-announcement from the same person whose name is on the announcement.
It sounds better coming from an official source.
It does,
like
but
a vague tweet is nothing compared to a vague statement.
You didn't see the press email, which was I believe they referred to the game as ambitious, which, don't get me wrong.
I think the storytelling aspect of it might be. The gameplay sure as hell won't be.
No,
but
yeah.
We don't expect gameplay to be ambitious in a Digimon game.
Yeah. And then Cyber Sleuth and Hacker's Memory passed 1.5 million in sales worldwide.
I just love. Good for them, and I love that they use that as an excuse to bust out that really horny fan art, or that horny official art, I should say.
Yeah. And then immediately, I saw multiple people going, Cyber Sleuth sold 3 million copies.
You need to really stop echoing the crappiest statements and thoughts of the.
To be fair, I saw it all over the place where people are like, they're not counting digital, and I'm just like, what? Yes, they're counting. What? They're bragging about sales. They're not mysteriously leaving out.
If there was any way they could spin that as saying they sold 3 million, they would be spinning that to say 3 million. Yes, that's how this works.
Yeah, because here's the thing. It doesn't actually mean they sold 1.5 million either. It means there's 1.5 million copies out there. Those count copies that are on shelves.
Yeah, if there's any way they can spin it higher, this is the highest number they can spin it to be. Yes,
and here's the thing. That's an impressive number. Even taking into account that this is 2 games, that actually is impressive for Digimon games to do. And that's the thing. There's no reason to pretend it did better, because this is actually worth pointing out. That's a plus.
It was a good game, and it did pretty good.
It's a good game, and a lot of these sales are only the sequel.
Yeah, it'll be. So. Yeah, I really would like to know what the breakdown was, because they were saying about, I think last year they were saying 700,000. So see, at first I thought they were counting Hacker's Memory when they first gave us numbers last year, but I'm trying to decide if Switch and PC could have actually bumped it that high, or if they hadn't been counting Hacker's Memory and just now they are, because the problem is when they announced the sales last year, they were also saying Hacker's Memory was the Hacker's Memory chapter of Cyber Sleuth, which made it even harder to figure out what the hell they were talking about.
It's possible that could have bumped it up a little bit, because we've said before this is a lot more accessible to play when you can do it on Switch or PC. It's not a great game for just a straight up console like PS4.
Yeah, because it was a little more.
Play the game until it came to Switch, just because my broke ass couldn't afford a PlayStation 4.
And it's worth mentioning. It at least the first one was designed as a portable game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not buying it again on PC, but if I had it on PC, I'd probably have replayed it more than once.
Yeah. PC copy isn't on sale right now in Japan. Bunch of recent Digimon games are on sale. In the US, the
Winter
Switch
sale is coming.
The Switch digital sale on the Nintendo eShop's $25.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Steam sale. Next Steam sale is only.
Yeah. Here's the thing. It's been on sale on Steam a lot.
Yeah.
So it will show up again, and but here's the thing: if you have a Switch and you want to play the game, $25, you're very rarely going to beat that price for the game. I mean, there's games where I've been price watching and I gave up at $25 after hoping they'd hit 20. So that's a good price to nab it at if you've been waiting. And maybe by the time Survive comes out, it'll hit $2 million.
I was gonna say that we don't have a single Switch game that's under $25, but we do have Goose Games, so that's not true. Long live Goose Game.
Honk.
Yeah.
And then we get
was never an option.
Yeah. And then we get the product potpourri. So we got to talk about the Imperial Dramon model kit last time. It got thrown up right before we did the show. They put up a little video showing how it is far more complex to transform this damn thing than I thought. I thought once you put it together, it was basically a transformer. It is not. You actually do have to remove pieces and stuff. The images were just showing how the joints moved, not the things you actually had to remove and everything. I think at that point, it's a little too much effort to deal with transforming it that often when you're actually having to pull apart pieces and everything. I like the kit,
but spirits live on.
Yeah.
I mean, you can always buy 2 copies of it and have one in each code.
Yeah.
Just pick your favorite.
Here's the problem.
Everyone likes one of the 2 more.
Here's the problem, Dev. We all already know this kit's going to show up again. They are 100% going to paint this thing white and gold and then sell it again. I mean, do any of us have any doubt that they're going to sell it again?
You're not wrong.
Okay, yeah.
We're getting our pally.
Yeah. So then we have adventure sweaters. Because why not? And this also shows where things are expanding, where they do keep doing all the kids, I can't remember what the term is, not clothes, I think it starts with an A. What's the damn word I'm thinking of?
Apparel?
Yes, that's the word. But yeah, I actually like the look of these, to be honest. I like the one with the little patch Agumon on it. And then the Pendulum Z, they showed off the first one, which I'm trying to decide if this is a good Mon memo or not, because it feels like showing the basics of a V-Pet at this point when you can't buy it. The only people who are interested in it not only bought it, probably own V-Pets, and I don't think there's much unique being shown here, unless I'm wrong.
They know how this works.
Yeah.
Thinking of doing another re-release of the first set.
Not yet, but I'm sure they will. Although I guess the one they did pre-orders for earlier in the year probably is shipping about soon in Japan, though, I guess. And then the Z2 we got the lineup for, which this is where people are like, aha, we know exactly who's going to show up in it, and people are wrong. We got Jazamon, we got none of his evolutions, though, although one or two of them may be in the question marks. I like Junkmon.
I like Junkmon too,
Yeah.
especially when you
I
look
also
at him
like
that.
Junkmon. It's cute.
When he's in his element in that picture, it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
Junkmon's good.
Yeah,
he's a good.
I will say it does feel weird to use Jazamon and not his evolutions, though. Although I suppose we might get the adult level one, but we'll see. And we get the 3 Eosmons. It's nice to see Heavy Leomon. I don't know. It's not my thing, but I do like the lineup. The next lineup is the one I'm worried about because I don't know what you do for. It feels like you
I'm just
can't.
glad they got Monodramon's baby forms in.
Yeah.
Yeah. The teeth on the teeth on the one just make me laugh. And
Do
then
you notice is Cancer Dramana always what they've been calling him?
No, machine translation.
We've always been calling him Gundramon, and
no, it's the site that's not on the image. That's text. Basically, machine translation. I snapshot it, I stitch them together, and I throw it up. And I generally go with I just stick it with the English just so it's there. And at some point, they will manually tweak that, and I will swap out the screenshot.
Okay, I was confused.
Yeah, some of them they clearly didn't have. Some of them were clearly set to show custom names which aren't there, which is why they're using the Japanese names and not translated at all.
I was gonna say that would be an amazingly weird dub name for Gundramon.
Yeah, what it is they use machine translation, but certain things are programmed in on certain pages to override machine.
Yes.
And that just hasn't happened here yet. There's been times when I've used the machine translation for the Pendulum Z stuff, thrown it up, and 5 minutes later, someone's saying, "Where'd you get this translation? That's not what's on the machine." And I go and look, and it's actually different within 5 minutes sometimes, where someone's literally, flipping the things in and out. So yeah. And then they put this up just a couple hours ago. Series 3 Shoto figures were announced. Lilymon, Zudomon, and Omegamon. Am I wrong, or do these just keep looking better and better each series? Like, these completely blow away the first series, don't they?
Zudomon's is.
Lilymon's pretty nice. She looks jacked.
Lilymon looks. There's something weird about Lilymon.
Well, okay, here's the issue with Lilymon is her arms and stuff are so thin in the show. You can't do that accurately and actually give movement.
Yeah, she's a little swole.
They did that. They did that so her joints were movable in the $8 toy, and Omegamon looks oddly great, even compared to everyone else. Omegamon's design benefits the low budget. Yeah,
he's a very toyetic.
Yeah.
Image.
So Digimon. We get the 3 stands for the premium Bandai version again. I would have liked the joint symbol, to be honest. It feels kind of weird just having the 2 separate ones on the Omegamon stand.
Yeah. I forgot about that joint symbol. That would have been nice.
Yeah,
and I also forgot about that as well.
Yeah, and although I guess that wasn't on the original one in the movie, was it? That was from later, I think, because I think it was just a circle in the movie.
Yeah, it came in a future.
Yeah.
Iteration.
And then
I'm pretty sure it was a figure at some point that introduced that.
Yeah, I think so. And then the box art, they're not showing a preview this time, but they did announce that all 3 box arts actually do combine into one image. And number 3 is the one in the middle, so it'll be interesting to see that. Yeah, I'm curious to see that because the way they did it was sneaky, so you couldn't tell, but I'm curious if they're hiding stuff on the other 2 because I don't think there's any overlap where we can see anything coming off those, so we'll see. About $45. I would say don't if you're in the US, don't go to Premium Bandai yet, because Premium Bandai USA will probably have these up pretty quickly. They did the other two. As long as you're willing to give up the gum.
No.
Yeah. But yeah, if you were each to get one of these, which would you get?
Ooh.
With just Series 3?
Yeah, just like if you could only pick one of these to get.
Zudomon.
Definitely Zudomon.
I'm torn. I'm trying to decide. I'm torn between all three because, like, I like the Omegamon one the best, but I also have Omegamon stuff. Yeah, probably Zudomon. We don't see him that often, and Lilymon is
Too
design.
She did not skip leg and arm day.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, that's what we've seen of her in the show, her kicking people.
She's good at that, yeah.
Yeah, so ships in April. I'm probably going to get this without the gum from Premium Bandai USA. And then so we got the drink list for the kitchen card that will be for AGF Azora Marsh. Am I wrong, or do these all look kind of nasty?
Mimi's looks like it's just made of avocados.
Yeah, I
enjoy your guac smoothie.
I left out a question involving these because I knew someone would take me up on my smartass answer.
Honestly, I'm okay with Sora's. The strawberry milk and grenadine, and like that, I could see being okay.
The only one of these that appears to maybe be drinkable to me is the lemon soda, because there is no anything there. It's just lemon soda, as far as I can tell. The Mimi and the Joe ones kind of look disgusting. The Mimi one, especially, the way it looks cloudy. It looks like
Mimi's. I don't trust.
It looks like it's
okay.
The problem with Mimi's is you look at the descriptions of them. All the other ones have flavors. Mimi's is just green.
But
that's
I think
the flavor.
Isn't that an actual term though? Green smoothie, where it's just various vegetables blended and that's it. Like, I think that actually
a selling point.
I'm not saying it's a selling point to me either, but I believe that is an actual thing that people drink.
Enjoy your avocado and kale smoothie.
Joe's looks the worst only because when I look at it, all I can think of is like that nasty kind of like chalk thing that they make you drink before you take a gastrointestinal exam.
Oh yeah.
To be fair, they do put charcoal powder in it for the color.
I bet it tastes like charcoal
your
too.
meds do.
Yeah, 600 yen each, and you get coasters. Although I will say the art's all very nice this time. I'm looking. There is no mocking of anyone's neck or anything this time. I don't think it just all looks very nice.
Honestly, if you can get through the drink, I think the coaster should be free.
It is. You buy the drink, you get the coaster.
You have to pay for the drink is the problem.
Yeah. Oh god, it looks so fucking.
You can only get the coaster if you finish the drink.
It looks so terrible. Yeah. And then let's move on from that. Digimon Classroom did episode 3. I thought the last one was episode 3. That was apparently an unnumbered special. This is What is the Digital World? And they also go over the gummy snacks with the stickers.
Gummies.
That's important.
Yeah.
But I can't chew gummies right now.
I mean, to be fair, you don't ever have to chew gummies. That's an option. And then we have, first we have yet another pop-up shop. This one's just a mini one that's going to be at the Canal City Hakata in one of their buildings. And it looks like it's past themes. That's going to be there for a month. And then they updated the Mega Hobby Expo talk. So we knew Chiaku Matsuzawa was going to be there. We knew Kenji Watanabe was going to be there. We knew the planning manager was going to. And then the hero of all, Victory Uchida, appears. One of the editors at V-Jump. I would really...
Victory Uchida.
Yeah, it's always nice to see him and his hat.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what pops up here, because they keep teasing that they're going to show more than one thing. That's a couple weeks away, and they definitely tease there'll be some sort of present or surprise, so we'll see. Because at this point, I believe the only gem that gem mega house thing that we know of that's not like orderable or done is the Diablomon Omegamon one, which we still haven't seen yet. So it feels like we're at about time where we'd see another one or two pop up. So we'll see. Any guesses
Rest
what it
in
might
peace,
be?
my wallet.
Any guesses?
Does expensive count as a guess?
I'll take it.
Omegamon Reboot Edition.
Don't tempt them. They'll actually do that. It'll just be Omegamon in a new
I'm
box.
sure they will eventually do that. It's just a matter of when.
Yeah.
Like, do they pull it out now, or do they wait for his 5th appearance? And
I feel like you wait.
I wonder if it might be like
Oh,
Aosmon.
there is one more. The Angemon. I don't think you can pre-order it anymore, but that one's still a few months away. I believe both me and Dev passed on that one because it was like $300.
Yeah, and I
Aosmon would be
already-
an expensive figure.
Yeah, that one is
yeah.
crazy. Yeah. And then the main current pop-up shop, pop-up theater. Hey, look, it's Taichi, Yamato, and Omegamon, the only characters in the new show. How nice of them to get new artwork.
It's Taichi, Yamato, and Takeru and Hikari's Digimon partner.
Yeah, that joke hasn't worked as well as you. You need to set it up better, AR. You can't just go for it every time. You got to be like, you got to do a few jabs first.
Well, Takeru's is dead, so
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, so some interesting items here. I don't know why I like the Digivice pillow because it kind of looks terrible. It's kind of too tumoury.
there's a
I
lot
think.
of stuff here that looks terrible, but we're still kind of impressed
Hey,
with it.
I have to be honest. The best one is the Omegamon face mask. That's
it
fucking
does.
brilliant.
It looks awful, but I still I'd be okay with this.
Yeah, and then there's going to be a bunch of the Otadamas. There's going to be 31 this time, and I like that.
Pokemon,
And I
Damn.
and I
Kingdom
like
Man-
and I like
Manager
how
is
they're
great,
being
too.
spiteful. They show the image of the 12 they introduced with Kazuna, and they go, "The O2 Digimon won't be there," and then someone laughs maniacally off in the distance.
Is
and
it
then-
Maki?
I hear someone stomping off in the distance. They'll also be selling all the card game stuff that's been released up till now, and some model kits, and I'm sure more crap will show up. And the 4th Memorial Short will be there, which we talked about. Was that last week or the week before?
I think it was last
last
week we
week.
mentioned it.
Yeah. Where we went, wherever will they show this that they've shown everyone at a pop-up store mysteriously? So yeah, this store is open now. Well, both of them closed November 11th. And we'll see if any more items pop up. And then art was a bit different this week. We got reference book updates. We got big art of Velgermon. And then Kenji Watanabe continuing to just... The Takaru and Angemon art's really great, and I actually think it probably looks better that it's not colored, to be honest.
That art is too
Yeah.
good for the actual scene.
We had to have the scene to have the art, AR. That's how it works.
I know. It's just too good for it.
Although, interestingly, his signature's not as good as it normally is. You could tell like he was doing it on a tablet or something, and his signature didn't come out the way he normally does it. And he didn't do the little drawing of his face. And then on to questions. So you guys can start throwing them in the chat, and we'll start doing... I'm 99% sure the questions is why AR fought to come back, because the questions that were sent in ahead of time were actually really good this time.
No,
So-
that's, yeah. I mean, I hate on like missing out.
Yeah.
I feel like somebody appreciates what I have to say.
Yeah,
I
you
hope.
do. You do occasionally get like really good targeted questions. So the first one is: in the past, you've talked about story structures, characters having things that come up, being explained or shown off more later, stuff like that. Are there any good movies that you think do this well? I know the movie I want to say, but I'm going last on this one. So, Dev, why don't you go first?
I just want to say Hocus Pocus, just because that's the thing that's just on my mind to begin with.
How dare
the
you?
season.
How dare you name one of the few films that was doing better than Kazuna? Damn you, Bette Midler. And here's the funny part: I'm not even making a joke. They were dueling for first place on the Blu-ray charts. Not even the anime one, the real one.
Do you really think Bette Midler's sweating over this, though?
No.
Like, I'm gonna lay a curse on the new Digimon movie for keeping my numbers down.
Yeah, let's be clear. Bette Midler doesn't know what Digimon is and does not care.
Bette Midler does not give a crap what the rankings of Hocus Pocus are.
So Dev, why Hocus Pocus? What about the movie makes that work for the question?
How dare you ask me more questions on top of the question?
You didn't answer the question. You just named the movie. You didn't say why.
Exactly.
It's not a bad. Like, I can kind of see it.
Oh, I'm not disagreeing with it, but I feel like that answer requires explanation.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I've never considered that before because I mean, Hocus Pocus. I like the movie. I just don't necessarily consider it great, but it does have all those elements, and it does achieve them fairly effectively.
Yeah,
but I'll let
because things show up like earlier in the movie that kind of like set it up for later. It's like it gets reused. It's not like what we were talking about earlier in the episode, where it's just like, oh well, it'd be nice if this shows up later instead. Like it's mentioned once and never again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, AR, what is your answer?
So, one is that if you're looking for good movies, I would suggest, like, to really dissect as far as story structure and character, find movies that are adapted from plays, because plays tend to be the most disciplined when it comes to having effective use of story structure and character. Like when we talk about things like Chekhov's gun, that's a playwriting that came from playwriting originally.
Yeah, because
so those sort of concepts really apply to playwriting because resources and screen time is very limited. So when you see those adaptations, those tend to use those very effectively. If I'm naming a specific movie, though, looking at the DVD like my DVD case, I actually think Moana is a good, simple example of how to execute all of this stuff. It's, as far as story structure goes, it's a very straightforward hero's journey style of story. Like, you can see all of the elements as they go along there. And for characters, like, even characters like, I'm thinking of Tamatoa, who kind of just shows up in one scene. They show up, they battle him, they get their thing, and they move on. He's integrated throughout the entire story in the beginning. Like, he's on the tapestries in the hut early on.
Yeah.
He is seen in a couple of flashbacks in a couple of the legends. He's on one of Maui's tattoos, features Tamatoa. So he's integrated really well throughout the story. And even in the end, when you have that kind of semi-twist ending, that's something that you can really understand, that it's a surprise, and yet it's also makes total sense. So I think that if you're looking for examples for all of these things in a really illustrated in a really simple way, I think Moana is a good choice.
Yeah, it's a really good choice. I was trying to think of like a really good classic one to go with, and I realized it's actually a movie.
I figured you were just gonna say Bill and Ted.
No, it's actually a movie I would say most people know really well, and it actually does all the stuff really well. Back to the Future.
I was thinking of that one, actually.
Yeah, because almost nothing in that movie is wasted. Like, even stuff like Doc telling Marty to record the experiment. That's because Marty is not the type of character that could explain to Doc in the past what's going on, and the camera acts as a way to prove to Doc that he is who he says he is.
And he wouldn't have done it unless Doc had told him to.
Exactly. Or even stuff like they set up the clock tower at the beginning, but the paper being given to him is something he would never keep. She writes her number on it, which causes him to have to keep it, which reminds him later on of the information of how he can get home. Stuff like there's just so much stuff in there that layers, and it works really well while just having character interactions, because they can't even get to the climax until the actual climax. They've actually set it up so they can't do anything about it earlier.
And they also set up a lot of nice parallels between what's going on in the present and what's going on in the past. Like you see how the mayoral election is going on in the present versus how it's done in the past, and it's basically the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a good choice too. I also like that I've seen all three of these movies.
Yeah, for some reason I was like trying to think of like really good examples, and then it was like, oh, the 4K copy of Back to the Future just shipped. It's like, that's the one, because that one just lined up really well. Let's see what we have in the chat. Frank wants to know, will we ever see a Digimon live action movie? I'm sure at some point someone's going to look at it and do it.
At some point it's going to happen. I don't know if I'm necessarily excited for it because I don't know if it's going to be done well. But I think at some point someone's going to go, you know what, this is worth throwing money at.
Yeah, basically.
And let's hope it's enough money.
Yeah. And then
let's hope it's like Detective Pikachu.
Yeah.
Look, just do one about, and just call it Professor Agumon. And it's just him with the coat, Terramon. Here, how about this? It's that Agumon and Terramon just get launched into the real world. And there'll be some random kid named Bob or Joe.
Oh, are we going to do whitewashing? Yeah. Go all in on this. But if they're, I mean, I've always said that if we're going to do a live
there's
action
100
movie,
things they could do.
Take the premise of movie 1, the original Digimon Adventure movie, and just, build on that as a foundation.
See, I'm curious to see if that were expanded or taken as a foundation, how well it would work just being longer, because at some point it just morphs into being Godzilla. And the movie sort of...
That's what people... I think that's what people would expect in a movie, and I think that's what people would go see.
Yeah. Maybe. I feel... I don't know. I feel like there's been enough Godzilla stuff as of late, and then they're doing another anime series, then Kong. It's just too much Godzilla lately for me. I love Godzilla, but it's just been too much. Next one, someone wants to know, why would they translate Oni-chan as the character name?
Because that's how we refer to our siblings in the English language.
Yeah. So, some shows...
Anyone who's complaining about that is an only child, or English is their not non-native speaking language.
Shows I've worked on have done that case by case. Some shows, they stick with the Japanese. They stick with doing it, or they'll translate it as brother. They'll translate the equivalent as sister, or they'll do the names. It kind of depends on the show. I think for Digimon, it makes sense to do it. And to be fair, they've been doing it since Try. Because I think isn't that Hikari's first line in Try?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I think it's Oni-chan.
I know it's her first line. I don't remember how they translate
it. I think it was just Taichi in the subtitles.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just, it's more natural to say the person's name. Like when I do my writing, I never do Big Brother unless it's Takeru being snarky.
Okay. So let's see. Okay, Ian asked, has Yamato's marketability in recent years been carried more by Gabumon and Omegamon's popularity, or is he comparable to Taichi on his own? He's as close to Taichi as you get, but I would definitely say he is not at that level. And we know he's not. We actually know he's not for one reason. Originally, the movie wasn't going to focus on him. Really? Behind the scenes stuff for Kazuna, it was going to be Taichi and Agumon. I believe somewhere it said it was Hiromi Seki who said, it should be Yamato and Gabumon also, because just to have it not be one character's story.
You're not wrong. It'd be even worse as a one character story. It's kind of annoying enough that it's only a 2-character story, given the size of that cast.
Yeah. And Ramon wants to know, will episode 2 do something Halloween related? It's on Halloween. Minus something like Koshiro narrating a Halloween themed Digimon. No, because remember, it wasn't supposed to air there. And minus like drawing Pumpmon in the background, I don't know what you would do in that case when this was in theory meant to air August, I believe, at this point, based on how much it got
there's
pushed back.
about like a 2-month or so hiatus, give or take.
Yeah. So I just don't think, minus like some sort of quick thing they could throw in, I wouldn't expect Halloween episode.
Right.
Yeah. Then someone said, I've heard some people say people only like things due to nostalgia. What do you guys have large nostalgia for that you don't enjoy anymore?
That I don't enjoy.
Okay, I'm going to go first on this one because I have the ultimate cheat answer because I've said it before. The original Ninja Turtle cartoon. Love it, means something deeply to me. Anytime I try to watch it, I just go, this isn't really good. I just can't watch this anymore.
It's a question of what I've tried to revisit before, because I tend not to revisit nostalgia things. I guess my answer would be Chippendale's Rescue Rangers, because I really, really enjoyed it as a kid. Now, when I see it brought back, like connected to the DuckTales reboot, and there's like a live action one in the works now, apparently, I'm just kind of like, I don't really need this.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll find out with the new Chippendale show they're making.
Yeah.
Although I don't think it's Rescue Rangers. I think it's just Chippendale. I don't know. Yeah, I think it's just
that
I think
sounds even worse, actually.
Yeah.
Dev, so is it going to be like more like the original, like?
Yeah,
I don't.
Is it going to be just is it going to be like this the slapstick stuff, the old cartoons? Because that sounds really dumb.
I just saw a promo image. It was just both of them, but like without the outfits, and it was just like. Oh wait, I found a picture of it. I will send it to you, and we can get your responses live.
I've seen a picture of it, but no, I'm talking about
definitely looks like it'll be slapstick.
Yeah, no, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a live action Chippendale that was announced. Yeah, this looks like fine. This is fine. This is like regular slapstick.
One second, I've heard this. Oh my god, you're not wrong. Oh my god, this was talked about earlier today?
Yeah.
Oh no!
Yeah, no. The image you sent is just a Chippendale cartoon. That's fine. Yeah, that's like classic slapstick. I'm totally fine with that. But
wait, the live action movie's being done by the Lonely Island.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
It's being directed by Akiva Schaffer, who's the director of all the Lonely Island stuff. Shit, now I actually wonder if it might work.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if that's exactly
okay. Yeah, we need to move on from Chippendale.
Yeah, Chippendale plus Lonely Island. Like I like Lonely Island. I don't know if that's a great combo.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Dev, on. I don't believe you did. I don't believe you named yours when we got caught up in Chippendale. Did you?
Probably the only thing I could think of off the top of my head is maybe Beast Wars. Just because, like, I like it as a concept, but when I try to, like, rewatch clips from it, my eyes hurt.
The animation doesn't necessarily hold up. It still looks decent, I think, and the story and character stuff still works great, to me at least. But yeah,
I prefer like more of the comics.
It can be hard to watch old CGI stuff.
Yeah, it's like, yeah. It visually just grates on me. It's just like, I tried, but
okay. No. Our good friend Joshua has one. If there was a Lucky Star type episode of Digimon Adventure, who would be Kagami?
I had to look up and see. Remember which one Kagami was. Kagami Sora.
See, now you have me doubting who it is. Wait, Kagami? Now you have me doubting it.
Konada's the main one.
Yeah,
Kagami's the sister. I'm
pretty sure Kagami is Yamato.
That could be too.
Because here's the thing. It's the Tsundere sister. That doesn't really work for Sora, does it?
Yeah, she was a bit at Tsundere, I suppose.
A bit?
Yeah.
That was the character's entire shtick.
Yeah. Okay.
Sora would be the other
them.
sister, whose name I can't remember now.
Tsukasa.
Yeah, that would be Sora. And
Yeah.
Joshua did also ask who would be Kanata.
That's still Taichi.
Yeah, that one's a bit
That's
too
still
easy.
Taichi. Yeah.
And the one we don't even have to pick Hikari because she's actually in it. Because they literally just found the one who looks like Hikari, and it is her dub actress in the dub. And every time I watch it, it's like they just looked at the one who was Hikari and grabbed her. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Someone asked, "Are any of you getting the new consoles?"
New consoles like PS5 and those?
They didn't specify, but I assume they meant the PS5 and Xbox Series X or S. But they did not actually say what they meant, but that's what I took it as.
It remains to be seen for me. Like, it depends on what sort of the first game that comes out for it that is optimized for it, that like getting the PS4 version is just a substandard experience, and it's a game that we must have. That's when we start having that conversation.
Okay, that makes sense.
But until that happens, yeah, we're not talking about it yet.
Now I know Dev's answer, so I'll let her go before me because the instant she saw the question, she like yelled it at me in chat.
Yeah, it's like, hell no, my broke ass isn't getting any of those. Like, I wouldn't even want anything related to Xbox in my home to begin with, but, like, I didn't even get a PS4. I didn't even get a PS3, like, on purpose. Mom just dumped on me. It's like, hey, a friend of mine was getting rid of this.
Not a bad way to get one.
And it plays Blu-rays, so,
yeah.
You know.
Now, my answer is cheating because, remember, I watch Blu-rays for a living. So when there is something like this, in theory, I kind of have to because can't have a disc go wrong on a player that millions of people are going to get when there isn't that many consistent players. But also, yes, I was going to try to get them anyways. So it's one of those things where I have a great excuse to do so, but I was going to try to do it regardless.
Fair.
Yeah. But yeah, it's... I have a few games pre-ordered because they're actually... The weird thing is there. I believe every single game that I'm even looking forward to on it early are on the old system. So there aren't even any unique experiences, which does bother me a bit, but I'm glad other people get to play them. Yeah. Let's see if there's any more questions in the chat. I don't think there are, so we'll give them a chance to do it while we do the last one that was sent. Someone said, outside of Digimon, how much are you into anime and what is your history being a fan of it? Any takers for first?
Sure. So I got into it late 90s with the Sci-Fi Channel movies. Was really my first exposure to, like, holy crap, this is anime. Like, I'd seen like Voltron and stuff before that, didn't really register that as...
Those were Saturday morning, I think, weren't they?
Yeah, the Saturday morning stuff I didn't really register, but
no. I meant the sci-fi movies. Weren't they Saturday morning?
They had some at night as well. They had like Friday night movies too.
Yeah, you're right.
They did have it weekend morning. No, they did have it weekend mornings. I remember distinctly watching like Rouge and Z in the morning.
Yeah.
But no, it was like Galaxy Express 3.9 and that stuff got me really hooked on it. Explored more of it. Later on, got into the anime club at the time. Haven't been watching it as much lately. Like, every so often there'll be a series I check out. Like, I watched Promised Neverland. I'm caught up with Agretzko. Other than that, it's very much a series really has to pique my interest to get me to sit down and watch it. I'm really bad about just watching stuff, to be honest.
I think we all are at this point.
Well, there's so many going on at once. Before, it was like you didn't have access to a lot of it, or there wasn't as many seasons, like separate series going on at one time. Like, I was chatting with a couple of friends. It's like, hey, at one point everyone knew pretty much every anime in existence. Like, around the time like 2003 with like Full Metal Alchemist and everything like that, you could pretty much
Mm-hmm.
go to a convention and point out, it's like, hey, I know exactly what pretty much everyone here is dressing up as. But
Yeah.
now there's just
Yeah.
like so much variety going on at one time, it's hard to keep track.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mine isn't that different from AR, where like I remember Voltron. I don't remember when I figured out it was something different though. At this point, that's lost time. But like I remember Ronin Warriors. I definitely do
And
remember.
one factor is I didn't have Cartoon Network until college. So like 2000-ish
I
was
think.
that was like when I started to get really, that's when you
Yeah.
discover Tenchi Muyo and stuff like that.
I can't remember if Ronin Warriors was syndicated or if that was on just plain
It was
USA.
I know
Because
I
it
thought it
was
was
on
Cartoon Network,
it
but
was on Cartoon Network later. It 100% was, but when I would have watched it probably around like 92 or 93, like way before. Yeah, where but yeah, I remember someone I knew had Tenchi on Laserdisc, but I didn't really watch much of it until it started showing up more and was easier to find. And there was a point when you could walk into Toys R Us and there'd be Tenchi figures and stuff, and it was wild.
yeah.
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 I don't search out shows much anyways because well, here's the thing. I'm not going to search out much stuff because that is my job. It's sitting there and watching stuff, a lot of stuff which I haven't seen before.
Mm-hmm.
So when I have free time, I'm not necessarily, I will look and go, okay, here's an anime I want to watch. And 5 minutes into it, I'm like, this kind of feels like work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned the Tenchi stuff because that's actually how I learned about the anime club on campus, is because the dorm next to mine had his door open, and I heard from the hall his screensaver, which was Ryoki meowing, and I recognized that as so distinctive.
Yeah,
that I went into his room and go, Tenchi, is that what's going on here?
Yeah. I do know though that I'm reasonably sure Tenchi's the first DVD box I got. They advertised it in magazines, and it was like $100 for the original run of the OVA series, and that was like crazy to spend on anime at the time, and just. But yeah,
Successor to Desco was mine.
yeah, I remember that. The problem is we kind of grew up in that same anime time frame, so all that stuff we'd both remember.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so trying to see if there were any other questions. Joe asked if the other holy Digimon are shown in rookie forms, what evolution lines would you like? See, I have to be honest, Joe. I don't tend to think of, because like if we see Clavis Angemon and it's not just X, I'm not super worried about what it's going to be. And like I know that's not what you meant, but
there's only so many valid rookie forms to go around for Holy Digimon. Like once you get beyond like Terriermon and Tailmon era and Plotmon and the like you start to run out really quickly.
But yeah, it's just I don't know. The making the evolution lines just has never been my thing, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Same.
Pretty much.
So I think that's about it for questions. Although Coraloo does point out that when Mimi called him a tsundere, he thought a letter was missing, which is amusing.
That's a Japanese thing, but that's easy to happen.
Yeah, but it worked well enough, and I'm.
Also, she was mispronouncing it on purpose. That was the joke, was that she was mispronouncing it.
It was good though.
Yeah, it worked fine.
Eduardo, we answered like 3 of your questions throughout the show. He's saying that we're not doing any of his questions. I'm pretty sure I complimented one of them even. So, AR, where can they find you?
Digimon.firstagent.net is my review site. First Agent ARP is my Twitter. I now have my wife watches Kizuna is pinned to that, so you can check the damage from that. lot of great shots fired that night. Also plugged to my also linked to my Tumblr page where I keep track of all of the deaths between Leomon's forms and Patamon's forms. Patamon pulling just a little bit closer for the time being, so we'll see how Leomon responds to that. It's 8-6.
DevQ, what Wikimon article do you demand the people read?
They should read Digimon World 2, just because I want to play that some.
Wait, didn't you pick that like 2 weeks ago?
No, I picked the Battle Server.
Yeah, you picked a different one.
Okay.
Different game.
Still a video game, but you know.
Enjoying the games.
Dungeon crawler.
Yeah. On the plus side, we're 100% sure the issue is not Discord, at least at this point, because AR, you've never had such an immaculate connection since you came back.
That really annoys me because half the reason I was so pumped to get this new laptop was because I'd have access to the faster Wi-Fi connection.
You know, it might be Ethernet cables going to the router.
Yeah.
Well, no, because
he's plugged into it now.
My modem is going to my router, which is now wired to my laptop, and it's working great.
Yeah,
so.
I'll have some time in a couple days, and we'll figure that out because there's a couple easy, free, cheap things. Or you can do wired. Maybe. Because I have to be honest, the connection's been immaculate since you came back.
That's really frustrating.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like I'll gladly do it wired again next week, but it's just frustrating.
No, I completely understand. My dad had gotten a new computer a couple months ago for work, and Wi-Fi was okay. I just cracked the damn thing open and put in a new Wi-Fi card. I just bought one and stuck it in just to be done with it.
Yeah, I'm not letting you do that, though.
I can try, though. I can be found at With the Will. We will hopefully have less startup issues next week. At the very least, we know what the issue is now, which makes it a little bit easier to deal with than just Discord dying on us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we will catch you guys next time. See ya. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.